real thing in Atlanta, sometimes you just have to be in the right place at the right time. And that proved to be the theme of today as I was out trackside with some friends of mine to catch my first trains of 2026. Our first train, and what we initially considered to be the prize of the day, was CSX L694, a daily local that runs between Union City and East Point, Georgia, working Howell Yard in Atlanta along the way. Three CSX-8s on the head end would warrant our chase of L694 this morning, as we catch them for the first time over in northwest Atlanta. Continuing our chase, we find ourselves sandwiched between two crossings on a slight curve. Shortly receiving word that while we were changing locations, L694 had dropped off the six cars that we had previously seen them with and was now running as light power into Atlanta.
What?
Traffic, mixed with some unfortunately timed red lights, would put a temporary end to our brief chase of L694. Once they disappeared into the tunnel under Inman Yard and began their work in Howell, we turned our attention to the Norfolk Southern Atlanta North District, setting up at a spot common to this channel, Control Point Bridge. Our next train of the day will be southbound mixed freight NS-156 with a KCS SC-70 Mac on point and bearing one of the loudest horns I've ever heard. As 156 crawls into the yard, our next train shows up, NS-370, a northbound would-be mixed freight that on this day appeared to have left its train behind in Inman with nothing but 5 engines and an EOT placed on the front instead of the rear.
Why is this EOT?
Yeah, I know, bro. That's so goofy.
Oh my.
Following that interesting consist was northbound Autorack train NS-18E, led by a solo AC-44 equipped with a nice Nathan P3. After 18E cleared, we heard that CSX B639 had just departed Atlanta with the P&LE Heritage Unit. We didn't know if it was leading or trailing, but we decided to go after it anyways. We soon found out that it was in fact not leading, but since it was stopping for a crew change, we stuck around for a bit to get some stills before heading back to Atlanta to check on L694. It turns out that they were still in the middle of working Howell Yard and wouldn't be ready to depart for a while. So we went over to Inman to see what we could find, and, well, we found this. NS-242 with two KCS aces back to back. We made a quick move over to Howell Y and saw 242 stopped for that CSX local from earlier. Once they cleared the junction, 242 got lined up to Greenville and we made haste over to Armour, getting there just as they rounded the corner. By this time, CSX L694 had finished their work and departed from Howell, now sitting in King Plow waiting for the tracks ahead to clear. With that in mind, we spun back over to Atlanta just in time to see a rolling meet between NS28J and CSX M526. next was NS367 with a duo of C6Ms and a good bit of EMD power. With the sun setting and daylight quickly running out, CSX L694 finally shows up as we catch them one last time. With the horn of an approaching train in the distance, we change spots one final time. We now find ourselves at a Y situated just a few hundred feet from the bridge we were just at. It's here that we see our last train of the day, CSX I-187, with a nice arrangement of BNSF paint on the head end, putting a fitting end to a day already decorated with great trains. And with that, our adventure on Atlanta comes to an end. I hope y'all enjoyed the long list of good trains we caught today and the shenanigans that came with them. Thank you all for watching, and God bless.